Let's jump right in. Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to put on our forensic auditor hats and have a pretty serious, high-stakes conversation about your AI investments. My goal here is to make your complex operational systems completely transparent. Because, well, we've uncovered a hidden operational fragility that's literally threatening the core of your digital transformation. And the crazy part? It's a massive blind spot sitting right there in the middle of your daily operations.
So picture this scene. It's Q1 of 2026. You've deployed all the heavy hitters, right? Copilot, Claude, the newest Jira features, and the investment memo, it promised a 25 to 35% improvement in delivery. The tools are rolled out, everything seems totally fine on the surface, but look closely at what's actually happening in your office right now. Out of your entire team, you've got exactly 2 people who are visibly, unmistakably moving at lightning speed. I mean, their risk assessments take minutes. Their status reports are absolutely flawless. They're operating on a completely different plane of existence. And the rest of your team? They're perfectly flat. They are moving at the exact same pace they did before AI even showed up.
Then Friday afternoon rolls around. A calendar notification pops up on your screen. The title just says, Quick Chat. And before they even walk into your office, you know exactly what's coming. So, I have to ask you, what happens when your best AI user hands in their 2 weeks' notice? This one single question exposes the sheer, terrifying fragility of your entire team's workflow. Because when that top performer resigns, your AI output doesn't just take a little dip. No, it quietly and completely rots from the inside out.
Okay, let's dive into this, because this directly challenges the whole narrative you were sold by the industry. The vendor decks, the early Gartner ROI models, they all assume this nice, clean, linear reality. They sold you the linear myth, this idea that if you deploy the tool, everyone automatically gets an equal productivity lift. But as an auditor methodically digging into the actual performance data, I can tell you for sure that's completely false. The grim reality is bimodal. You don't have a team of moderately capable AI users. You have a hyper-concentrated pocket of extreme capability and just a couple of people, surrounded by a vast majority who are essentially just using it as a glorified search engine.
So let's look at Exhibit A, examining the bimodal evidence.
Let's look at the numbers. According to McKinsey's State of Organizations 2026 report, an impressive 91% of companies have deployed AI in at least one business function. Sounds great, right? But here's the catch. An overwhelming 94% of those companies report seeing no significant value from those investments. Just let that sink in for a second. 94%. Why is this happening? Well, it's because simply dropping a shiny new tool into a workflow doesn't automatically redesign that workflow. And more importantly, whatever actual gains are being realized, they're quietly concentrating in just the handful of individuals who actually know how to command the technology.
And this brilliantly illustrates the root of the problem, which is deeply structural. According to the Project Management Institute's June 2026 customer experience research, only 20% of project professionals report having extensive or good practical AI experience. Meanwhile, 49%, literally nearly half your team, have little to no experience or understanding of AI in the context of their daily project work. This is a profound, nonlinear gap. Think about it. If you have a 10-person team, 2 people possess real AI workflow capability, and 5 barely even touch it. This isn't just some slow adoption curve we're talking about, it's a massive structural divide right in the middle of your workforce.
And the core reason behind that massive divide is incredibly revealing. According to APMIC's 2026 survey, the top barrier to AI adoption isn't budget constraints. It's not the fear of job replacement either. It's a lack of understanding, sitting right there at 32%. But when we investigate this forensic data closely, we see that lack of understanding is actually a distribution problem masquerading as a team average. If you try to manage this by just giving everyone a generic half-day AI training session, you solve absolutely nothing for either end of your team's spectrum. Which brings us to the autopsy phase. Let's look at the Spotify culture parallel.
To really understand why this bimodal deployment is failing so hard, we can look at a super revealing historical parallel. Follow this timeline with me. Back in 2012, Spotify published a couple of informal white papers detailing how they organized their engineering teams into squads, tribes, chapters, and guilds. By 2015, hundreds of companies had copied this widely. I mean, they literally copy-pasted the org chart onto their own office walls. But here's the thing they completely missed: the invisible layer. They missed the psychological safety, the deep engineering culture, and the highly specific knowledge that made those squads autonomous and functional in the first place.
So the crucial point is perfectly captured by Henrik Nieberg, the co-author of those original Spotify papers. In 2019, he stated plainly, Spotify doesn't use the Spotify model. The absolute irony, right? The most copied operational framework in history was practically obsolete before most mimicking companies even finished implementing it. They copied the visible structure, sure, but they completely failed to capture the underlying capability that made it actually work.
I have to warn you right now, the AI bus factor is the exact same failure mode, just compressed into a much shorter timeline. If we aren't careful, by 2028, we're going to be looking back and saying, your team doesn't use AI, they use the interface. Just giving someone a Copilot license, that's just copying the org chart. If you do not actively capture the invisible underlying knowledge layer, the specific prompting techniques, the validation habits, the workflow templates that your top 2 performers are secretly using, your team is literally just clicking buttons on a very expensive interface.
Let's shift gears to the preventative action. Here is your 60-day action plan.
Fortunately, this is a completely solvable problem. And the best part? There are clear, non-budget steps you can initiate today. First, let's clearly define what it is we're actually managing here. The AI bus factor is a direct measure of your operational fragility. Basically, it answers the question, how many key people would have to resign before your team's AI capability completely collapses? In most AI-enabled project teams in 2026, this number currently sits at a critical level of 2 or lower. You are running at a massive operational risk level, entirely dependent on just a couple of individuals, and honestly, most project directors don't even know it.
Let's move on and see how this builds your defense. Your very first line of defense is a 1-hour internal workflow audit. And again, you do not need budget approval for this. Step 1, identify your top 2 AI users. Step 2, book an hour with them, sit down, and simply ask, show me what you actually do. Now, this is absolutely crucial. Do not let them just summarize it on a whiteboard for you. You need to watch them operate the tools live. Your job is to document the gap between what they loosely describe doing and the actual highly specific prompts and workflows they execute in practice to get those 5x results. You have to extract that tacit knowledge.
Once you've done that audit, you immediately implement this checklist of 3 knowledge-sharing habits. Number 1, you must start treating AI workflows as operational IP, not just as individual user preferences. Number 2, build a shared prompt library. When someone figures out a prompt sequence that cuts a 40-minute risk log preparation down to 8 minutes, that template goes into the company's shared library, not just their personal notes. And number 3, strictly separate AI training from general digital skills. The person who is a wizard at Excel is not automatically your best AI user. Identify your high-capability individuals and systematically invest in making their knowledge transferable to the rest of the team.
Finding out how fragile your system is before someone hands you a 2 weeks notice is worth every single minute it takes to implement this 60-day plan. You have to distribute the capability across the team, not just hand out software licenses. Which leaves us with a final vital question for you to really think about as we wrap up this explainer. Are you genuinely managing your AI capability, or are you just one resignation away from going right back to 2023?